So here's what happened. He lost a legal challenge that he mounted over the British government's decision to downgrade his security.
Just when the world thought Prince Harry had finally settled into his American life, a brutal twist flipped the entire script. In a move that stunned both sides of the Atlantic, Harry reportedly gave up his US residency and is now pushing to return to the UK alone, without Meghan Markle anywhere in sight. So what forced his hand like this? Why crawl back to the life he once trashed? And why without his wife standing beside him? This wasn't nostalgia. This wasn't regret. This was pressure closing in fast. Harry is heading back to Britain, but don't call it a homecoming. This return isn't driven by family, forgiveness, or reconciliation. It's cold, legal, and unavoidable. The monarchy has made its stance crystal clear: he will be acknowledged, and that's where it ends. There will be no royal safety net, no official protection, and no quiet backroom favors. Whatever diplomatic cover once existed is gone. He is no longer handled as family business. His departure from the United States wasn't a choice, no matter how neatly it's being packaged. At exactly 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time on January 28, 2026, Buckingham Palace dropped Statement 186, and it hit like a hammer. The wording was sharp, stripped of emotion, and final. No sympathy, no cushioning, just reality. Harry had been deported from the US and was returning to Britain without status, leverage, or protection. Within minutes, the announcement detonated across global headlines. Months of whispers and leaks instantly hardened into fact. This wasn't gossip anymore. It was policy. And unlike past family drama buried under royal restraint, this time the message was deliberate and distant. Harry wasn't coming back as a prince. He was coming back as a liability that needed managing. At the core of the collapse was the revocation of his O1 visa. This elite immigration status is reserved for individuals with proven extraordinary ability, and for nearly 6 years, Harry relied on it to rebuild his American identity. Media projects, advocacy work, branding, all of it slowly cracked. In late 2025, the Department of Homeland Security quietly opened an investigation after congressional pressure over possible visa misuse by high-profile figures. The spark wasn't an outside accusation. It was Harry himself. In his memoir Spare, he openly detailed years of drug use, including cocaine, mushrooms, and marijuana. What the public once framed as honesty and healing landed very differently with immigration officials, and that difference changed everything. Those admissions weren't treated as storytelling. They were treated as confessions under U.S. immigration law. Under INA Section 212A, any foreign national who admits to violating controlled substance laws can be ruled inadmissible or deportable, even without a criminal conviction. And for an O1 visa holder, the standards are ruthless. That visa demands non-stop legal compliance, ongoing proof of extraordinary achievement, and an active US-based sponsor at all times. By late November 2025, every single pillar collapsed. Netflix walked away. Spotify moved into arbitration. Meghan's agency, WME, declined to renew joint representation. Their production company, Archewell, drifted into uncertainty. And worst of all, no legal entity was willing to sponsor Harry's visa renewal. Without a sponsor, his immigration status unraveled fast. On January 10th, DHS issued a notice to appear, an NTA. Harry was given 10 business days to leave the country voluntarily or face full deportation proceedings. Appeals were filed and denied. Political pressure was tried and failed. Emergency legal motions went nowhere. Just after midnight on January 26, 2026, Prince Harry boarded a commercial British Airways flight under diplomatic escort. The symbolism was brutal. No private jet, no royal carve-out. He was processed like any ordinary civilian. Seat 2A, Flight BA268, LAX to Heathrow. No exemptions, no shortcuts, just procedure. And the exit wasn't just legal, it was financial. The Montecito estate, once sold as a sanctuary, became a trap. Court filings first reported by the Los Angeles Times revealed missed mortgage payments to First Republic Bank, now owned by JP Morgan. The $14.65 million property, purchased in 2020 with a $9.5 million loan, entered pre-foreclosure on January 8, 2026. No U.S. income, no visa sponsor, civil liabilities piling up. Among the debts, An estimated $3.6 million owed to Tyler Perry for unpaid private security and transportation services. Time ran out. Money ran out. Every escape route closed. Attempts to downgrade from an O1 to a B2 tourist visa were blocked by DHS due to inadmissibility concerns and financial instability.
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage.
Canada said no under shared visa intelligence agreements. No EU country offered private asylum. Speculation about Botswana, Argentina, or a remote island was pure fantasy. There was only one destination left: Britain. But this return isn't a welcome. It's being handled as a containment process under what sources describe as Operation Iron Gate, reportedly backed by Prince William and Princess Anne. Upon arrival at Heathrow, Harry is to be processed like any flagged individual. No diplomatic lounge, no fast-track clearance. Home Office officials confirmed Frogmore Cottage's lease was terminated on January 15th. All security clearances tied to his former residences were revoked. His status in Britain is now unofficial, unprotected, and unaffiliated. The irony cuts deep. The very book meant to liberate him, Spare, became the document that sealed his downfall. So why was Harry's visa doomed from the start? In January 2023, Spare shocked readers with raw admissions. He detailed cocaine use as a teenager, marijuana at Kensington Palace, and psychedelic mushrooms in California. One scene even described a hallucination involving a talking toilet. To fans, it sounded dramatic. To immigration officials, it was evidence. Under U.S. law, specifically INA, Section 212A2, those admissions alone were enough to trigger inadmissibility. And everything that followed. This applies even if the drug use happened outside the U.S. and never led to an arrest or conviction. Most people never face consequences like this, but Prince Harry was never an ordinary case. At the time, Harry was living in America on an O1 visa, a status reserved for individuals with extraordinary ability. While celebrities often qualify, the rules are strict. Applicants must prove sustained recognition, active professional work, and ongoing sponsorship from a US-based organization. Immigration officials also weigh moral character and whether the person is still contributing meaningfully to their field. For years, Netflix and Spotify provided the institutional backing that kept Harry and Meghan's visa status afloat. By late 2025, that support collapsed. Spotify canceled Archetypes. Netflix scaled their deal down to a single remaining project. Their agency, WME, quietly stepped back, citing misaligned future plans and the absence of an active sponsor. With Harry's own written admissions of drug use, his legal position crumbled fast. He didn't just lose professional footing, he handed immigration authorities written evidence against himself. By December 2025, Meghan's legal team made one last move to stop the bleeding. They applied to downgrade Harry's O1 visa to a B2 tourist visa. That would have allowed short stays without work rights. The Department of Homeland Security rejected the request. A leaked letter later reported by The Guardian listed serious concerns: financial instability, ongoing legal disputes, public admissions of illegal behavior, and no proof of extraordinary professional activity in the prior year. Plain and simple. No steady income, no active projects, no sponsor, and a damaged legal record. The situation worsened when it became clear Meghan couldn't financially sponsor Harry either, despite being a US citizen. Shared debts told the real story. Those debts reportedly included $12.5 million tied to Netflix repayment claims and more than $3.6 million owed to Tyler Perry. Together, the numbers painted a picture of deep financial trouble as deportation proceedings accelerated. Harry's legal team scrambled for alternatives. Canada refused to fast-track residency. Argentina and Portugal declined informal inquiries. A quiet appeal to Botswana went unanswered. Even Britain offered no soft landing. Leaked documents tied to Operation Iron Gate suggested Prince William and Princess Anne pushed for zero special treatment if Harry returned. The message from Washington and London was the same. Status and privilege were gone. There was no dramatic goodbye at the Montecito estate. The gates didn't slam shut. They simply opened one last time. Harry left under federal escort, not as a duke, not as royalty, but as an ordinary man facing the law. At 2:42 p.m. on January 26, 2026, a white envelope appeared at the security booth outside the Montecito mansion, and with it, the final notice that this chapter was officially over. The envelope carried the seal of First Republic Bank, now operating under J.P. Morgan Chase, and it landed like a wrecking ball. It was the final blow to the Sussex, California dream, a court-approved foreclosure notice. The Montecito house, bought in July 2020 for $14.65 million, hadn't received a mortgage payment since September 2025. Court records in Santa Barbara County showed the truth. Even with early financial help from private backers, especially Tyler Perry, who reportedly covered more than $3.6 million in security and housing costs, the collapse of media deals left the household exposed. The safety net was gone. The breakdown started earlier. While Prince Harry scrambled to save his immigration status, Meghan Markle held quiet meetings with lawyers and PR advisors in Los Angeles. By January 20th, her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, was registered under her name alone. Joint accounts were frozen. Her relationship with WME was quietly restructured. Sources say Meghan was advised to protect remaining assets and legally distance herself from any incoming federal fallout. Survival mode kicked in. Then came January 24th, their last night under the same roof. Harry walked into the master bedroom carrying one rolling suitcase and 2 duffel bags. He was shaken and overwhelmed. He said, "We have to leave tonight. They're not just canceling the visa, they're taking the property. J.P. Morgan is serious." Meghan stayed calm. She stood by the window as helicopters circled and paparazzi swarmed. Her reply was firm and final. "You have to go. I'm staying. For the children, for the brand, for the future." Schools, citizenship, and an upcoming product launch were all laid out clearly. Just like that, the partnership ended. Not with screaming, not with chaos, but with separation by choice. Later that night, Harry tried to transfer part of the property into Meghan's name, desperate to save something. Lawyers shut it down immediately. The estate was already under review. At 8:06 a.m. the next morning, DHS agents arrived with a final order. Harry was told to leave the property within 24 hours. No negotiations, no extensions. His support system collapsed in real time. There was no private jet, no diplomatic rescue, no powerful friends left in Washington. Instead, Harry was booked on a one-way commercial flight, British Airways BA 268, departing Los Angeles on January 26th at 7:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Witnesses at LAX later described the moment. Harry arrived in a rented black SUV, exhausted and unshaven, wearing a baseball cap and gray hoodie. One suitcase. No staff. He stood in the regular TSA line, removed his shoes, declared nothing, and qualified for no private lounge. Phones came out instantly. Photos snapped. TikTok live streams exploded. One woman whispered, "That's the prince." Another replied, "Not anymore." Harry boarded first class alone. As he crossed the Atlantic, Buckingham Palace finalized its response. The official statement was scheduled for 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on January 28th. Sources say Princess Anne and Prince William personally reviewed the wording the night before. The message was cold and unmistakable. This was not a family reunion. It was the legal outcome of Harry's own decisions. No warmth, no sentiment. Operation Iron Gate had reached its final stage. The Frogmore Cottage lease was terminated. Royal security access revoked. Border alerts activated. Harry's fingerprints, once stored under diplomatic status, were now listed as a high-profile civilian under standard review. Rain poured over Heathrow Airport. Cold, gray, and relentless. Rain soaked the runway and streamed down Terminal 5 like a warning. At exactly 1:47 p.m. GMT, on January 27, 2026, British Airways flight BA268 from Los Angeles touched down on runway 27L at Heathrow Airport. It was an ordinary landing. No diplomats, no royal convoy, no black Jaguar from Windsor waiting nearby. Prince Harry was not returning as a prince. He entered the UK as a civilian, processed under standard border rules and internally flagged as a high-profile individual with prior security concerns under Operation Iron Gate. As passengers disembarked, Harry stayed seated until nearly everyone else was gone. No entourage, no aides, Just a carry-on bag and the weight of lost status. His HRH title was gone. His diplomatic passport was gone. Outside arrivals, airport police created a small safety zone, but no palace car arrived. For the first time in his life, Harry stood alone. No official vehicle, no elite protection, no royal team to collect him. Rain streaked down the glass as camera flashes lit the night. At 1:58 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, his phone buzzed inside his jacket. His hands shook as he checked the screen. He wasn't calling an assistant or a lawyer. He was calling his father, King Charles III. Inside Clarence House, a leather-bound phone vibrated on a polished desk. The screen showed Harry's private number. Charles sat surrounded by royal history, facing a brutal choice: duty as king or love as a father. His finger hovered. Then Prince William stepped forward from the shadows. His expression was cold. "Don't," William said. "He's in trouble," Charles whispered. "He made it our problem," William replied. "He betrayed the crown. He sold the family legacy for money and attention. Now he wants help." The phone rang again. "We don't negotiate with terrorists," William said firmly, echoing language already shared with the Home Office. Charles said nothing. He let it ring. Then it stopped. The call went to voicemail. In that silence, another door between father and son quietly closed. Operation Iron Gate had been whispered about for months. By January 2026, it was fully active, designed not for foreign threats, but to contain a royal insider deemed a risk. Created with backing from Princess Anne and led by Prince William, the rules were absolute. Harry's Frogmore Cottage lease ended January 15th. Locks changed. Security codes wiped. Border Force instructed to treat him as a private citizen. No shortcuts, no privilege. Royal security was removed entirely. Even Clarence House was placed on heightened alert. The family agreed on total silence until his return became public. This was not a welcome. It was containment. Scotland Yard was no longer available. Windsor residences were closed. Highgrove was off limits. Friends stayed quiet. Former allies backed away. Even palace staff who once admired the carefree younger prince now viewed him as a liability. And Meghan? She didn't answer his calls that day. Her team's statement didn't mention the deportation at all. It focused only on her brand and her children's life in the United States. The message couldn't have been clearer. Harry was back in Britain, but he was completely on his own. So Prince Harry took a black cab and merged onto the M4 motorway, staring up at the flat, gray English sky. The country he was born into felt distant now. What once felt like home had turned into a locked fortress. Was this really the first time Harry's past caught up with him? Not even close. In the early 2000s, Harry was already making headlines for poor judgment. As a teenager, he was photographed engaging in underage behavior at Highgrove House, an incident later acknowledged by Clarence House. At the time, it was treated as a youthful mistake and handled quietly through family intervention. Back then, the palace smoothed it over. Today, it's being reframed as an early pattern, reckless decisions that would follow him for years and later raise serious red flags with U.S. authorities. Then came 2005. A costume party photo exploded worldwide. Harry appeared wearing a Nazi armband, smiling. At the time, it was brushed off as a tasteless stunt. Now it's cited as a warning sign of unchecked rebellion and entitlement. Within 48 hours of his return, tabloids and social platforms went into overdrive. TikTok compilations stitched together past nightclub scuffles and controversial moments under brutal captions like "The Rise and Fall of a Royal" and "He thought he could beat Buckingham Palace." Inside the palace, quiet containment turned into active defense. Prince William, according to sources close to Kensington Palace, was furious at how the media framed the situation, but even angrier at how Harry had forced their hand. William reportedly told advisors, "We tried everything." His frustration wasn't about headlines alone. It was personal. He had pleaded with Harry not to publish Spare. He even urged King Charles III to halt distribution when early drafts leaked in 2022. When the book portrayed William as emotionally distant and volatile, the betrayal cut deep. Sources claim William later confided to Princess Anne, I stood by him when he collapsed, and he turned me into a villain for money." Watching Harry return not as a royal but as a cautionary tale changed everything. William's focus shifted, no longer protecting a brother, but protecting the monarchy itself, guided by Princess Anne and senior advisors. A chilling phrase quietly circulated among press contacts: "The crown does not shelter saboteurs." It began appearing in editorials and off-the-record briefings. Even King Charles, usually the calming voice, stayed silent. Reports say he ignored Harry's call from Heathrow, fueling even more speculation. One former palace staffer put it bluntly: "William closed the door, Charles let it happen, and reinforced the lock." Across the Atlantic, Meghan Markle stayed unusually quiet. Her spokesperson released just one line. She was focused on her children, her business, and family privacy. But actions spoke louder. Meghan wasn't listed on any legal appeals tied to Harry's visa or property battles. On January 12th, she formally incorporated American Riviera Orchard as a sole proprietorship, removing Harry entirely as a legal partner. Publicists reframed her image as resilience amid chaos. Talk show appearances were planned, without Harry. TMZ added fuel, quoting a source claiming Meghan told him, "Go fix it," and he didn't. The silence, the paperwork, and the timing all told the same story. This wasn't just fallout, it was separation by strategy. By January 28th at 1800 GMT, Prince Harry checked into a rented cottage on the edge of Oxfordshire, guarded by private security but stripped of all state protection for the first time in his life. No royal authority, no official home, no office, no roadmap, no safety net, just one suitcase, a laptop, and a phone packed with missed calls. It was obvious Harry hadn't just lost a visa. He'd lost his place in the story. The once marketable image of the rebellious royal collapsed under its own weight. The myth finally ran out of oxygen. Back in California, Meghan Markle wasn't looking back. She moved fast, reshaping her image not as a duchess, not as Harry's wife, but as a standalone American figure. Her brand, American Riviera Orchard, pushed forward with quiet launches, lifestyle teases, and controlled PR rumors of a solo streaming appearance followed. Focused on her journey, not her marriage. She hasn't mentioned Harry publicly since his forced exit. Insiders at WME describe her strategy in one phrase: forward only, no apologies, no shared baggage, just momentum. Meghan is selling survival, independence, and control, protecting her brand, her citizenship, and, according to sources, keeping her children clear of legal instability. Speculation is growing fast. No paperwork has surfaced, but silence speaks loudly in royal circles. Inside the palace, Prince William has emerged as the key decision-maker. He drew firm lines, refusing diplomatic letters, ordering Frogmore vacated, and telling King Charles III, "We do not negotiate with terrorists." William's stance is earning praise across Whitehall and the Commonwealth. While Charles remains king, real power has shifted. Security decisions, crisis planning, and messaging now flow through William's circle. Princess Anne fully backs him, reportedly saying, "We gave him years. You can't negotiate with someone who profits from tearing down his own house." Charles, worn by illness, pressure, and family fallout, has gone quiet. He still scrolls old messages, still asks staff. But he no longer calls. He's made peace with a painful truth. Harry may never truly return, and if he does, it may already be too late. So what do you think about Prince Harry's return to the UK? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.